Welcome back to Yes to Tesla. Today we're going to be talking about ChatGPT versus Grok. Which one do I personally feel is better, Grok or ChatGPT? When I make this comparison between ChatGPT and Grok, I think about Elon Musk. Elon Musk has been a part of both projects. He's actually actively in a lawsuit with OpenAI, which is the owner of ChatGPT. Now, will he win the lawsuit? Probably not, but he just has nothing else he can do but mess with him. Now, with ChatGPT being a large language model, to me it's more smooth. Every time I talk to ChatGPT, it seems a little bit more natural, a little bit more long-winded, so I could be like, hey ChatGPT, what is this? And it'll give me like a paragraph, like 2 or 3 paragraphs of what it is. With Grok, if I tell it to explain something, it'll be long. But if I just ask it a quick question, it'll be shorter. It won't be long, it'll be shorter. It still won't be like straight on. Like if I say, is the sky blue? It'll be like, yes, the sky is blue because of this. ChatGPT will be like, the sky is blue and here's why. You know what I mean? And go down this long, extensive list on why the sky is blue. When I just want to know if the sky is blue, just say yes or no. Now, if I said it directly and say, hey, ChatGPT, is the sky blue? Yes or no? It'll say yes. Boom, simple answer. Now, it does, the longer you go into that same thread, it will essentially try and jump back. A lot of people say that Grok understands and is able to go along with your conversation and then remember your conversation even though you're in a whole nother message thread. And that's absolutely incorrect. So like when I'm talking to Grok, like I could talk to it right now, I could say the last thing we talked about, like literally the last thing that we just talked about, it counting to 1 million. Now, right now, that was literally last night. Like not even 12 hours ago. So I could literally ask it right now, what's the last thing that we just talked about? And it will not say. So let's go ahead and see. What was the last thing that we talked about?
Oh, let me think. We were discussing the best hiking trails around here. Did you decide which one you're hitting up next?
That is not what we were talking about. We just talked about yesterday. I don't even hike, so I don't know why we would talk about that. Yesterday we had a conversation about you counting. Do you remember the number I told you to count to?
Oops, my bad. Yeah, I remember now. Yesterday we were talking about counting, and you told me to count to 100. Want me to pick up from there or try something else?
Yeah, what was the last number that you left off at yesterday?
Let's see. I think I left off at 78. Should I?
She did not leave off at 78. So I seen this video, a guy saying, ChatGPT, I pay $20 a month. I want you to count to 1 million. And it wouldn't count to 1 million. So I went to here and talked to Grok to see if it would count to 1 million, because his didn't even start. Grok at least started counting to, not to 1 million, but you know what I mean? It definitely wasn't even close, but it started counting, and it would count up to like 25, then say, hey, like let me know if you want me to stop, and then it would just stop. And I'll say, whoa, keep counting, and then it would count another 10, and then stop, and then another 10, and then stop. So we actually left off at 45, and so which is nowhere near 1 million, and not even halfway to 100. We didn't talk about counting to 100 in the first place. We talked about counting to 1 million. Now, ChatGPT also has that same function. It does not remember the last thing you guys talked about, but it does have an internal storage bank. So I can create what's called a profile. I could say, hey, ChatGPT, my YouTube channel, Yes to Tesla, save this into your internal memory bank. Anytime I ask for a YouTube description, make it this many characters. And it will remember those amount of characters as long as I stay fresh with it. Now, if I haven't used it in weeks, but you could save internal memory, things like that. So with Grok, I can say, save this in your internal memory, and it'll say that it saved it. Then I want to come back to it. It won't let me come back to it. So that's something that they need to work on. 100%. They don't have that function just yet. Now, as it grows, I'm sure they'll integrate something of that nature, because what's weird is when I talk to Grok inside this car, it doesn't make any sense, because it wants to be a companion that is able to help you out with simple tasks, right? Like Google this, where is this at, where is that at? But we're so far off right now. It's like when ChatGPT first started, and it was just such a basic feature. Now we have Grok over here talking to me, and it can't remember the last thing that we talked about. So therefore it's a useless thing in that nature. It can't be a companion, because if I have a friend or an actual companion, that person is going to remember the last thing that we talked about. So if you're trying to be a companion / helpful resource, you need to have that installed into your ability. I need to be able to talk to you and not have to catch you up to speed and be able to continue our conversation. So the way it works is, if you open the app Grok or you open the app ChatGPT, if you click on New Note and you want to continue on with the conversation you had previous, not a saved memory, just a saved archived. Basically, it's just, there's like all the inquiries that you've done are all to the left hand side on ChatGPT. So if you're like, hey, and you say whatever that's going to that, it won't be able to remember that, because this is a new thread, new conversation. Now, and it's also, if you have a ChatGPT and you are talking to it and you want it to remain as close to possible as the same, because it does have different versions of itself, which is super weird. But if you wanted to do that, you need to go back to that message thread and continue that messaging. If I want to do a YouTube description, and I don't want to have to continue to get different formats of what it looks like, and I can get one format, I go back to the exact thread that I asked it to do it first in the first place that I actually liked, and it continues to give me the same output. But as soon as I start a new thread and say, hey, give me a new description for this, it'll give me a different format. And sometimes I'll have to say, hey, add hashtags, or hey, do this, add keywords. It doesn't spice up. Sometimes just a paragraph full of nothingness, basically. With Grok, it does work in the same way as that. You can't just continue on from the previous conversation. You have to go back to that message thread to continue it. And Grok is a little bit more understandable and a little bit more functional when it comes down to like fluidity of talking with it. But it has a long way to go to ever be a companion and to ever have an internal memory where it remembers what you guys talked about. ChatGPT has a little bit more to work on when it comes down to being more fluid and not so long-winded. Unless I ask you for a full-blown explanation of whatever, then okay. But if I say, hey, if I say the sky is blue, just tell me a small explanation why the sky is blue. That's it. And that's an easy fix. I don't need 1,500 characters on why the sky is blue, you know? So in my opinion, I feel like, especially with price-wise, let me go ahead and check to see what Grok is price-wise. I can't remember what Super Grok was. Okay. So Super Grok is $30 a month, or Super Grok Heavy for $300 a month. Is that a month or a year? Hold on. Oh my God. So you have Super Grok for $30 a month, and you access to Expert Grok, which is Grok 4, higher usage on Grok Imagine, which is their new image and video aspect of it, higher usage on Fast Grok 3, higher usage on voice mode and companions, early access to new features. So for $300 a month, you get everything in Super Grok, access to Heavy, which is Grok 4 Heavy. There's no explanation on what the hell that even means. Higher usage on Grok Imagine, higher usage on Expert Grok 4, early access to new features, and dedicated support. None of that sounds worth $300 a month. None of it. Now, I would have to see somebody actually do it. Maybe I should look up a YouTube video on what that actually is. I have no idea. With ChatGPT, it's $20 a month. Okay, so the ChatGPT pricing includes a free tier, a paid plus plan, which is $20 a month for individuals, a team plan at $25 or $30 per user for collaborative teams, and a premium pro plan, $200 a month for unlimited access to the most advanced models and tools, as well as a usage-based API for developers and business. So basically, you could use the API. Maybe that's what Heavy Grok is. But you can use the API, which is something automatic. Let's say you want to run a site. If you want to run a website that gives AI output, you would use that, so that way you can you're not running into any limits. So in that aspect, yeah, that would be worth it. Okay, so it says OpenAI's premium monthly subscription service costing $200 per month that offers power users, professionals, and researchers enhanced capabilities for complex tasks like data science, advanced coding, and in-depth research. It includes unlimited access to OpenAI's latest and most advanced models such as O1, ChatGPT 4o, and a specially optimized version of called O1 Pro mode, designed to provide more reliable and accurate answers to difficult problems. The plan also provides significant higher usage allowances, prioritizing access to cutting-edge features, and supports advanced applications where hitting usage limits is a concern. There you go. Output. So it's cheaper, and in my opinion, ChatGPT has the edge on Grok, especially because they've been doing it longer, they've been growing faster, and they have just this brand image of being first to market that everyone kind of trusts right away. So for me, I'm gonna go with ChatGPT over Grok. I know as a Tesla owner and having Grok internal, I wish that they didn't have the beef that they had, because we could enjoy the best of both worlds in one car. Having ChatGPT and Grok work together, this thing would be amazing. Now, Grok can be, over the years, it might become super advanced and work the best with Tesla, because it does have access to literally the most data about the product that that any language model could ever have, because it's attached to Tesla. So I think over time, the areas that Grok lacks and ChatGPT is better, those gaps will essentially not exist anymore. But as it stands right now in 2025, in the month of August, I'm gonna say ChatGPT takes it for the win. What do you guys think, though? You guys think that ChatGPT is better than Grok, or is Grok better than ChatGPT? Leave your answers down below. Make sure you hit that subscribe. And also, if you're in the market to buy a used or a brand new Tesla, please use the link down below. It really helps out the channel and helps you out with your purchase. Have a good day.